Well, joining me is co-founder and president Edana. Did I say that right? Edana Perry. Thank you for joining us today, and let's talk. Was I muted?
No, she was.
Oh, okay.
I was.
All right. Let's talk about SUDEP. Yeah, and your personal story and journey as it relates to this. What do we call it? Is it a condition? Is it? Talk about it. Tell us what.
Sure, absolutely. So first and foremost, thank you for giving the Kayla Ross Perry Memorial Foundation an opportunity to share some information that is close to our hearts. And as the video um, referenced our understanding of SUDEP, it came too late. SUDEP is the sudden, unexpected death in epilepsy.
Mm.
And it is the terminology that is used to basically describe the fact that doctors don't understand how individuals who suffer with epilepsy, and epilepsy is a seizure disorder, how they end up passing. But there are risk factors. And so part of what we wanted to do was to um, help educate people and have a discussion, like how do they lower their risk from potentially passing from SUDEP? What should they do if they have a seizure? How can they prevent future seizures? Are there treatments? And when it comes down to it, the things that are similar about SUDEP is that one, the individuals tend to pass, they are lying flat down with their face in their pillow. They may have had a seizure or a heart attack from a seizure. But because there is no real understanding about how to prevent it, the medical community had stepped back from even mentioning it. And so while the medical community, the physicians, her team would often say, Miss Perry, you have to watch if Kayla has a seizure, she might fall and hurt her head, or she might fall and hit the tub and might die. No one ever said she might pass away in her sleep from SUDEP. And so we were, not only distraught from losing a loved one, we were distraught because we weren't given all the information. And as parents, as caregivers, as individuals who are caring about themselves or their family members, you want to know the risk. We find out risk about smoking. We know there's risk associated with riding an amusement park ride. But because we don't understand completely, why are you withholding information from us? So that's where the passion came in, is that we first found out about SUDEP, unfortunately, when Kayla passed.
So tell us about Kayla. And I think about it because I just bring this up a little bit because I remember as a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
We knew those kids who from time to time used to have those, what we call epileptic seizures.
Epilepsy. Mm-hmm. Or
Right.
fits. People would call them fits.
Right. We didn't understand it, but we knew,
No.
This one did and that one did. And so as kids, you were kind of aware of that. But thinking back, I haven't even thought about that since that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to know a little bit more about Kayla.
Sure. So Kayla is the youngest of our three children. She has an older sister. Her name is Taylor. She has a middle brother. His name is Christian. And Kayla brought up the rear. Kayla actually was very talented musically. She actually sung with the Washington Performing Arts Children of the Gospel Choir for over 8 years. She loved music. And she could be a little snappy and stubborn. She liked she kind of had like a boho style of fashion. And the one thing that is we always remember about Kayla is that her and her dad share the same birthday, May 9th. So her dad never lets us forget about that. Um,
Wow.
and so, and she was a poet. She was starting to love cooking and modeling. But I think the one thing we remember about Kayla is her personality, which was jovial, and her love for her family.
Did you know that I'm sorry I didn't get to meet her, but I can really feel her spirit and I can see it in you. So, but I mean, at what point did you realize in Kayla's life that she, was having this condition?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was around 11. She was around 11 years old, and it was in the summer, and I was actually working at a major hospital at the time, and she was coming down the steps, and we were in the kitchen, and she had some grits, and her arm trembled, and she dropped them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked at her and I was like, Kayla, you okay? She was like, yeah, Ma, I don't know what's going on. But then it happened again.
Mm.
She had the tremor. And what we later found out after 2 visits to the physicians, the first visit did not show anything. They did a CAT scan or MRI on her brain. That didn't show anything. What you need to have is what's called an EEG. That is the test where they put the electrodes on your brain and they monitor the brain activity. So
Mm-hmm.
we went through 2 visits until finally we got to the um, the neurologist, and they did the EEG, and they found that she had epilepsy, and she was diagnosed with what's called juvenile myoclonic epilepsy. And her particular seizures were triggered by lack of sleep, of all things, and it would show itself by that movement.
Yeah.
But there
Mm-hmm.
are other types of seizure disorders where people may just stare, and so that's where the education comes from, is that understanding when you're seeing behavior, you may think the person is acting like they're drunk, but they're about to go into a seizure.
Wow. Wow. Mm-hmm.
So we feel there's a lot of opportunity to educate our community, our family about what would happen if you're in the midst of someone who, has a seizure. But once she was diagnosed, after I cried to get over it, because there was nobody in our family who had
Right.
epilepsy, then we just prayed and said, okay, Lord, what do we need to do to try to make sure that she can live as much of a normal life as she can? And we were determined, and so was she. And so there was nothing that she couldn't do. We would just have to make sure wherever she went, people were made aware of the fact that she had to get more sleep, and then what to do in the event that she might have a seizure.
And it sounds like, that was like, um, I guess your own personal discovery. Are you saying that the discussion that you plan to have is just to inform people that are not getting the information from the medical community?
Right, and to know where to go. For example, the Epilepsy Foundation of America is the main vehicle that provides a lot of the education, and we work with them on and off in different programs. But the other thing is we want to remove the stigma, as you talked about, the stigma associated with individuals who happen to have seizures.
Yeah.
It's not contagious, Miss Barnes. It's not
Mhm.
contagious. People think it is. So they will stay away from someone once they see them go through this. And
Mhm.
so, once we understand something, we're not afraid anymore.
Right,
And so
right.
that's what's important.
Well, I'm also wondering, and I know we're getting short on time too, but the schools. She could have been in class. She could. Are they equipped? Do they understand? Or I mean, how do you?
So that's a great question. And that kind of segues into, our foundation started with providing not just, we started with providing scholarships, and we've been doing that for the past 5 years. but we're slowly moving into a programmatic phase where we're going to be able to teach seizure first aid training. And there is a particular toolkit that the Epilepsy Foundation has developed specifically for safe schools. And so that's another thing that we have to get out there. We need to let the educational leadership know that there are individuals who can help teach both their personnel and students about how to help those who are dealing with epilepsy.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I know tomorrow is K Day.
Yes, ma'am.
2005.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us about K Day. What you all have planned, and where folks can come. And that's a beautiful picture of Kayla. So yeah, tell us about K Day.
Okay, so in 20 words or less, K-Day is a reflection of Kayla, with information infused with it. Kayla loved music. She and I would go Zumba dancing. Kayla loved to cook. And we recognize there's always a mental health component that we need to continue to watch out for in our community and for each other. So if you come, you may come and hear a DJ, Miss Barnes. If you come, you might come and you might be able to do a little bit of Zumba. You might come at that time. We're having a panel discussion called Our Stories Matter, where we have been able, two of our scholarship winners actually are living with epilepsy successfully.
Nice.
And so we're going to have a panel where they're going to share about their struggles, their achievements, everything that they've been able to do, and their parents. So you'll see that. And then we'll have a little bit of refreshments. And then I am going to teach a brief seizure first aid training.
That sounds like it's all inclusive and very informational and entertaining, and educational as well. So I am really proud that you decided to share this with us today, to introduce us to Kayla and to talk about the work that needs to be done. I don't know what, and it makes me, maybe you do, the Epilepsy Foundation, I'm sure, knows as well, the prominence of epilepsy in our community.
Well, that's interesting because I do have that statistic. Roughly 74,000 people in the DC metro area live with epilepsy.
Hmm. And the ages range from?
You can be from 1 to 92.
Okay. All
and
right.
have it. And people develop it, Miss Barnes. Sometimes it could be genetic, but sometimes it could be a result of a brain injury, an accident, and also from a stroke. So there are, different ways to develop epilepsy, but in our community, 1 in 26 people will actually develop epilepsy in their lifetime.
And this is personal, but you make me think of the parents of friends who are parents, who have a son and is exhibiting some things that they don't quite understand, and consequently kept him. He went to college. He's in college. He wanted to leave home, but because of something that was happening that didn't quite understand, they kept him close. Right. So. But we've never had that conversation. So I'm going to share this conversation that you and I are having. And I hope that others that see this will share it as well, because there are probably more folks, who are.
You're right, Ms. Barnes. And can I just say one thing about that? That's part of what we will also talk about tomorrow is empowerment.
Yes.
Empowerment to have that question, to ask your doctor, to ask your nurse practitioner, whoever is coordinating your care. Like, are you telling me everything about my illness? Or can you direct me? We want our community to be empowered about their health care. Right. And so that's very, very important as well.
Well, I know you're Kayla's father. I think that's probably who I saw in the video as well. Ma'am. And so I'm glad that it appears as though you all are partnering this. Yes, and I know he's got his job to do as well. But
he's actually a teacher, so he's teaching.
Oh, good. Well, give him our regards, and thank you for sharing this information. We're going to put the flyer up one more time.
Thank
just
you.
for folks to see it. And we hope you have a successful event tomorrow. And also, you've got the information in case folks want to reach out to you with more questions or just to have the discussion.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank
Barnes.
you. Thanks a lot for being with
Bye-bye.
us. All righty.
Where did you come to get all